Welcome to An Aries and Pisces Walk Into a Coffee Shop, the podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Bridget, she, her.
And I'm Tiffany, she, her. This is a podcast where two friends let go of perfectionism and talk unedited. You can find us at the links in our show notes.
Support the show by buying us a coffee. Also, subscribe and share this episode with a friend. There was just a chipping sparrow here at my window feeder. And I think that they're really small and cute. So, of course, because they're tiny, I think that they're super small and cute. And they like hang out in the feeder.
Oh.
And the birds don't usually just like hang out, but it'll just be like sitting in there. And I'm like, it's just so sweet. Like, thanks for hanging out.
And I think so cute.
I think that somebody was going to try to build a nest in there. I don't know who, but
they're like, endless supply of food. This is where I'm gonna have my babies.
Because this feeder is like it's like this big, and it's got a roof on it now, like, so it's much bigger than a little like soap dish like I had.
Yeah. And now it's a little bit more sheltered.
Yeah, and so the one day I looked in there and there was like a stick and a little thing from like an evergreen tree, and I was like, I'm gonna dump these out just so nobody starts continues on. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. That makes me think of like energetically, it's like who I am at a party, where if there's like a table with food on it, I like just hang out right there next to the food. I'm not trying to like flit about too much. I'm just like in my safe space next to the snacks.
Yeah. That feels nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels nice. I think that like I love snacks, and I'm thinking of like a charcuterie, if you will, you know,
exactly.
Some like assorted little cheeses and crackers and things.
With like nuts and some jam.
Yeah, pickles.
Oh, pickles. I went to this birthday party and they had those teeny tiny little pickles that are like extra sharp.
Is it like
crunchy?
Is it like a full-size pickle but it's small?
Yeah, teensy.
I don't like those.
I love them so much. They make me want to go. And I like, and then I want to savor it. So I can't even like pop the whole thing in my mouth. Like I always have to bite them in half because I'm just so delighted by how small they are. I love them so much.
It's kind of like baby carrots. I don't like
I don't like those either. They're too watery. And they don't taste like real carrots. And they're slick. And I don't trust them.
But yeah, that's a bit weird.
Anyway, it's not like I have any sensory issues.
Yeah, same.
Weirdly, the healthier I'm getting, the more unwell I realize I'm.
Oh, jeez. I guess everything is a balance, right?
Yeah. That's what we'll call it.
I have really been keeping in mind the thing that you've said on here before about balance. In that it's, look at that angel.
Ingrid came to say hi because she heard me talking. She woke up from her nap.
Oh, goodness.
She's doing a purr.
I want to pet her.
I want that for you too.
I just want to like put my face in her. Okay, so balance. The thing that is, you know, things are going up and down on both sides, and I can't remember how you very beautifully articulated it. Like you have to like zoom out and look at like more of the picture, and that when you're keeping in balance, it is the things are happening on both sides, and you have to like adjust and account for those things in order to like average out, right? If you're taking an
Yep.
average, you're having numbers that are way lower and way higher. And so I have been keeping that in mind when I feel like I am, I guess, like out of balance or out of sorts, or like
Mm,
feeling a certain way, that I'm like, oh, this is all just part of it
mm-hmm.
instead of the whole story. That's what I think. That's it. That's what I'm like holding on to, is that like this is just a part of it. It's just a piece. It's not the whole entire story.
Right. Yeah, I got that concept from yoga, because the idea of when you're doing a balancing pose, that there's all these micro adjustments that you have to be constantly making in order to hold that pose. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same every time, and it's not consistent. Like every day is different. So like, yeah, maybe you tend to balance well on your right side and not your left. Then every once in a while your right side is just a mess. And like that doesn't mean you're bad at balancing or you lost it. It's just it's ongoing. Like it's not a static state. It's dynamic. And I keep on, for Ingrid, like, come on, choose a side. Sorry. This idea that it's not a state of being, it's like a constant being, a process.
Oh.
It was really helpful to me
Mm-hmm.
because of exactly what you said, this idea of like, oh, I'm out of sorts and that is how it is, not realizing the overall arc of the story is I'm doing a lot better than
Yeah.
I'm giving myself credit for, because I'm concentrating on the stumble and not the overall grace that I've been able to do over time and with practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is what I'm holding on to really tightly right now. Because like as I said earlier, it's hard to feel good when you don't feel good.
Uh-huh.
And
That's that feels like when I was trying to describe the one day, uh the very like insightful or prophetic or whatever, like hugely wow big things that I was realizing, that I was like, this doesn't sound like anything.
that was my favorite. I learned the secret to life. Live.
Right? Like just be. That's it. Okay.
Just do that. It's simple.
It is simple. It's so simple. And we feel like we have to complicate it so much
Mm-hmm.
to get
Yeah,
it. Or
I
like,
think I think that's what my like mental breakdown last year was about, where I just kept thinking, we're gonna be dead soon. Why is it
mm,
like this? Like,
yeah.
I just couldn't wrap my head around why connecting was hard or finding joy was elusive. Because I'm just like, everything is dying. What are we doing?
Hmm.
Like, wasting precious resources on nonsense.
Hmm.
And then I had to have a breakdown about it. I think I'm still on the tail end. But oh, thank you, Ingrid. I got a little licks for that.
Oh,
That was so
she knows.
nice.
She knows. Cats know. They're doing it.
Yeah, she's so good at being.
Hmm.
She's been teaching me a lot about laying down. I've been taking maybe a little bit too much of a lead from her, but I've needed to lay down.
Hmm. Maybe it's the season of laying down. I've felt like that lately,
Yeah.
but yeah, I laid on the couch last night. I think it was maybe after I went grocery shopping, and Zero came down and laid on me. He doesn't often
Mm.
like come lay on me on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
and he also like laid on me. I think it was like yesterday on or 2 days ago on the couch.
Oh, that's sweet.
And is that Alexa? I was starting to So I'm thinking that this should be a new segment in our podcast, and it is when when in the episode is do we have to take a break for Alexa?
I just have to go find a hole somewhere, bury myself for a few months, come up with the cicadas to scream, and I think that'll fix me. Just need a hard reset.
I'm gonna say that I don't think you're broken, and I like this. Because when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about a while ago, and I think that I meant to say something to you, and I thought it was delightful. It's just our Alexa segment. And that to me was like, yeah, I like us. I like what we do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Look, I'm leaning really hard into the breaking perfectionism and going straight off into just chaos. And the thing is, I tried an experiment the one week. I don't think I told you this, where I was just like, okay, I don't need my middle of the day alarm. Let's just like not do that anymore. That is not true. I do need that alarm.
Oh.
Otherwise, I lose the whole middle of the day.
Mm.
And like I tried to move it at different times. And if I don't have it, I don't eat, or like I lose track of time. I forget to take my lunch. And then I'm like cross-eyed, or what is that other feeling? There's like, yeah, it just feels like I lose time, where I'm just like, what have I been doing for the last 3 hours? I don't know. I need that alarm to like bring me back. I think it's because like that mid-afternoon's like the slump for me, where it's like, I have a hard time getting started in the morning. And then once I do get started, I like lose time in between there until like end of day. And so I need like a touch point to remind me that time exists.
I don't think you're silly. I think that you're laughing because you're like, this is embarrassing and I'm so silly. And I'm like, Tiffany, I'm right here with you. I think we're fine. I think like, because for me, I also have it, but it's not an alarm. I'm lightheaded. I need to eat now. And I've committed to eating lunch at noon every single day. And so like this stuff became very evident to me when I went on my trip for the eclipse. And I was out of my routine. And so I started noticing things that used to be more challenging for me. That because I have this like routine, I don't really have those as much.
Oh, interesting.
So like while I was away, there were times when I didn't know if I was hungry or if I was bored or if I was like overstimulated and I didn't know like how much to eat. I didn't know when to eat. We were eating at all sorts of like different times. And so I was like, I had no fucking concept. And then I would find myself like stuffing myself with like snacks and things that I don't do here, because here I eat on like a pretty regular schedule, because I just know that like that's what works for me. I've found that that's what works for me. So I don't have to really like think about it too much. And yeah, so while I was gone, I was like, oh wow, my routines and rituals and things that I do at home, like they're really working.
Like, such a nice thing to have confirmed back to you.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't have as much of a routine as you, but I also struggle with those things. And that's why I need the alarm to remind me, because I don't have the, hey, you're lightheaded and need to eat. I have I get stuck in pushing through. Like it is like a dissociative, like if I'm lightheaded, I'm just like trying to work harder through it. I don't have the thing in my brain body connection that says, hey, take a break. You
Mm-hmm.
need a snack. I need
Mm-hmm.
an alarm to be like, hey, it's time. What do you think? And I'm just like, oh yeah, I do feel a little sick. I probably should go eat something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, for me, it also too depends on like what I have here to eat. I also like have to have something like prepared and easily accessible and like because
I've
like
been
in the
struggling with that,
afternoon
yeah.
if I don't have that, I just don't eat and then I get real sick and then I feel awful and then I'm like I literally can't eat because I don't know what to eat and I can't
Oh
figure it
yeah.
out and so I'm like I have to have all of this like even though I know, right? Like I know if I don't eat, I get lightheaded, I get hangry, I can't do anything because my brain is fuzz and then
Hmm.
I know those things but it still doesn't.
Well, because all the brain power you need to get to the having the food is still too much energy to burn to make sure that you're not burned out about not having food. Yeah, no, I know that one. You know what my solution this week about that has been?
Hmm.
Literally eating the exact same thing for like
Yeah,
almost every meal.
yeah.
That I have to prepare for myself. I've been really blessed that I either had leftovers or of my own or someone else's. Um, I have been getting a lot of care in that way, and it's been very helpful because this week has been, I accidentally overbooked myself and I'm still like recalibrating
Mm.
um, in general. And then having like all these commitments that I made past me, which is very optimistic. Um, and so I keep on getting stuck in that loop where like nothing sounds good.
Mhm.
I know I need to eat or else, but I either don't have, well, I didn't have groceries for a while because I couldn't get to the store. That was too overwhelming. And then the things I did have would take a little bit too much creativity for me to like actually put a meal together. So I literally just had eggs and toast for like, well, mostly lunches I had leftovers and then breakfast and dinner were eggs and toast because I was like, I know I like those. It's my
Mhm.
like cozy food. I know how to make it because like I make that every morning. And so then I was just like, well, I guess I'm just going to bookend the day with another round of eggs and toast. But because I did that, then I really had to go grocery shopping because then I went through my bread and my eggs really fast. And then I was like, you have to go to the store because now you're almost out of your safe food. The bread is
Mm.
gone. You have 2 eggs left. You can't feed yourself without eggs and toast. So I did get to the store. I was very proud. It took me 3 hours to get myself to do it. It's
Good
15 minutes
job.
away, but I did it.
Good job. Good job. Yeah. This is yeah, this is a lot of stuff that I have had to set up these I guess systems.
Yep.
I hate to call them like strict systems or like strict
Because it
like
sounds not fun. It sounds rigid and like,
right, but it's like I'm realizing like it's the only way I can get myself to do that without that it took me 3 hours to get there because now I'm like I go grocery shopping Tuesdays after dinner. So it's like I don't have to guess about it. I don't have to fight myself about it. I don't have to like I don't have to go through all of that like
yeah,
toiling to try to get myself to do it because I know that that's when I go. And if I don't go then, I don't have groceries.
right,
And I also know that before that, I have to pick out my meals for the week so that I put the exact things that I need on the list because I cannot go to the grocery store without a list. I won't be able
right.
to buy anything.
Yeah.
I literally won't be able to buy anything. So I'm like, I know that I have to like
This sounds so smart and so impossible to me. So the algorithm keeps on giving me these reels about what is it? I see. I'm so avoidant that I can't even remember what they call it. Demand, demand resistance, passive something. Fuck. There's this symptom of certain flavors of neurodivergence where if there's a demand, you just pathologically resist it. It's just your brain says, oh, I should be doing something. Fuck you. No, I won't. And I never thought I had that,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm starting to wonder. And what tipped me off is this trying to take my vitamins more than once a day. I got a routine where I take my vitamin every morning and it was working really great. But the type of vitamin I have, you should be taking it 3 times a day.
Wow.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So I decided, well, I'm going to try to take it twice a day at least. And I could not figure out how to get that second dose in. Like I kept on, because like I have my morning vitamin with breakfast. So my brain was just like, well, just have your evening vitamin with dinner. Duh. Could not make it happen. So then I was talking to my sister and she suggested something really smart where she's like, just put it by your bedside and like you take water to bed every night. So then when you go to bed, just take your second vitamin then because it would have already eaten. Voila. And I was like, that does sound smart. I'm going to try it. I was so embarrassed by the amounts of time that I got into bed with my water like I do every night, looked at the vitamins, and something in me was just like, fuck that, I'm not going to take it. And I'm like, what is happening? Why? And I don't have an answer. The amounts of time I've had to like grit my teeth and force myself to take the vitamin that's looking at me. It's not even in a bottle, it's in a bowl. I literally just have to pick it up and put it in my mouth. I'm already holding the water. I take it to bed with me every night because I'm anxious that I'll have dry mouth. Like I have it. And there's something in my brain that says, I don't want to do it. And then I was like, oh no. And then I started noticing I do it with other stuff too. It's like, so like if I were to say, you go grocery shopping every Tuesday night, to me, the fuck you are? Like, who are you to tell me what to do? I don't know what that is, but it's disrupting my life.
I mean, I also have the you can't tell me what to do. So I'm very interested in I'm putting myself into Tiffany's head of the like
Good luck.
I'm interested in the internal you can't tell me what to do, right? The like the part of you that says you can't tell me what to do because it's if you've
It's just all me
already
here.
right, like if you've already done the work to be like, this is a beneficial thing for my life, I want this, I want to do this, and there's still part of you that is like, you can't tell me what to do. This is fascinating. I want to do a parts work session with you.
I mean, as we're talking about it, I'm curious if it's one of those things where, where we talked about the pendulum swinging in the opposite direction. I'm wondering if there's a part that feels because most of my life I've had to grit my teeth and like force myself to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if this is like a swing in the other direction where it's just like, I'm so sick of being told or telling myself that I need to be doing all this stuff. That maybe now it's like, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad for me. I don't want to do any of it. Maybe. Because I'm still battling that like societally where it's just like, you have to act in these certain ways, achieve these certain things, participate in these systemic oppressive systems that are like in place. And I wonder if there's just like a very loud protester part in me that's just like, no discernment, just protest. Like, no, we don't want, like, we need to do something. No, we don't. We don't need to do nothing. So maybe I'm just like in the recalibration phase. Maybe there's something that's swinging this way so that I can maybe swing back more into a happy middle where the discernment comes in and says, yeah, I don't need to do what capitalism wants, but I should take the vitamin. It'll help. Especially because you're not really having a good time with getting all your meals in, and the least you can do is take a vitamin about it.
Oh shit. We're doing a good job, and will you please update me on your vitamins, your vitamin story? Because I want to know how this develops. Um,
To tell on
I'm,
myself.
yeah, I love when you tell on yourself to me.
Well, you know what I did today?
What?
So embarrassing.
I don't love that you feel embarrassed, right? That is not what I love. But I love when you tell me these things because most of the time I'm like, "Oh my God, Tiffany, I love you so much." Like, and this is just like endearing, and I just see it as like I'm just wrapping you up in like a big hug of like, "Of course you did that thing." Like, of course you
Oh,
like
thank you
and
for this reassurance. It's very sweet. So, because the nighttime avoidance of taking the vitamin has gotten so bad, it's starting to leak into the morning. So in the morning, I have my vitamins in front of the coffee because I drink coffee every morning, and it's in the kitchen. Like, if I open to go get the coffee, I have to move the vitamins first.
Hmm?
So they're in my hand, and then I take one out. And lately, instead of just putting it into my mouth and taking it, I've been like, I'll take this after breakfast. And then sometimes I don't. And so now I'm trying to unlearn that and like starting to like take it immediately. And then this morning I got to a new level where I took it out and I had it in my hand and I was like, I'm going to take this after breakfast. No, you're not. You're going to take it now. And then I put the cap on, and as I'm putting the vitamins back in the cupboard with the other vitamin in my hand, I'm like, I'm almost out. I'm probably just not going to buy any others. What? Like, that was an actual thought I had where it's just like, I almost don't have to do this anymore because once these are gone, fuck these vitamins.
You got some feisty, angsty little parts in you. Oh, Tiffany.
She mad.
She's something. She's something. I can't wait to hear about. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that this is hard. But also I'm like edge of my seat. I can't wait to hear about this girl. I wonder
Get better.
I
Because there
wonder
was,
like Um, that made me think of when you said that you weren't like writing anymore, and then
oh,
turned out like all you needed was a new fancy pen.
yeah,
I
I don't know
I
how to make this fun.
yeah, I wonder.
I
Well,
wonder,
one time you inspired me for some reason to when I was taking some medication, I drew a heart on the
oh,
label.
that's right. I did do that. Yeah, because I was taking like 2 different vitamins at one point. Yeah, and one of them I was writing myself like messages like you're doing a good job or I love you or something like. It was that, oh, because it came from the I'm doing this nice thing for myself because I deserve it and I love myself.
Mm,
So I deserve
mhm,
a clean table or like
mhm.
I deserve to have like a tidy counter space. And then that lent me into I'm taking this vitamin because I care about myself. Oh, I forgot I was doing that.
Mm.
I didn't write anything on this vitamin bottle. Now it's almost gone. Oh, interesting.
Mm-mm. I wonder how that would be. Or I also wonder, have you ever seen those art prints that are like, it'll be like a pill bottle and it'll say something like antidepressants on it, but the pill bottle's being dumped out and it's a bunch of little cats or
Yeah, I
something.
have seen
Like,
that. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
like I wonder if you got that, or like printed that out or something and like pasted it on the bottle, like just
Oh,
something
yeah.
to bring like a completely different like vibe into it, maybe.
Yeah, make it more playful or a nice like visual reminder why I'm doing this for myself.
Ooh,
Oh,
you could, what if you work with this part of you that you're like, okay, you tap into that and you find out like what she needs or what she's not getting or what, like whatever the thing is. And then you use that to either like make the affirmation or like to pick out the art that
yeah.
like goes along with that so that you're like giving that to her or in some
Right.
way. Like,
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna have to journal about it. Oh no.
oh,
Yeah. I really have been avoiding a lot of Oh my god, being alive is so embarrassing.
it is. We're all just like floundering around and we don't have a fucking clue what's
Oh,
going on or how to do anything, and we're just walking around like pretending that we do or like thinking that we have to like know. And like my thing for this week is that I can figure things out as I go. Like that,
oh
like
yes.
I don't have to have everything figured out. Like I can figure it out as I go.
Mm-hmm. I've been leaning really hard into that this past week because, like I said, I overbooked and overcommitted, and I had to keep on bringing myself back to ground and being like, we cannot spin out on preparing for every eventuality
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or every scenario of what could go wrong. We just need to show up and in the moment figure it out.
Yeah.
Because this burning yourself out before you ever get to the thing you are anxious you can't handle is like not the way.
Yeah. How are we so often doing the same fucking work?
Oh,
That's
staircase.
exactly what I'm working on.
Oh, I don't love that for us, but I'm also feeling very accompanied. So thank you.
A company. Oh my God. I'm just picturing us. We're walking like side by side and we're like, we've got that like arm hold that they do. Oh God, I had to learn that for what? Like walking in somebody's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Where
different
it feels very
style.
unnatural. Yeah. And then
You've
it's
got
like
like this person's hand is here and this person's hand is here and
and you're thinking so much about it. It's like you've never walked before in your life. And all of a sudden you're like, I didn't drink or take drugs, but I feel impaired. Like those dogs that have to wear little booties where they're like all of a sudden they don't know how to use their little feet because their little toe pads are
yes.
covered.
Oh my God. That like when we put the little booties on Zero with his boo-boo
Yeah.
paws and he could
Oh.
not function.
He
Yeah.
couldn't feel the ground. He didn't know it
he
was
could
there.
he couldn't rest until those things were off his feet.
Poor baby. Yeah, I feel like that a lot.
I was trying to think of like what like we can't rest until we like lay all these fucking limiting shit beliefs down. But we
Mm-hmm.
can rest. The thing is that we figure it out as we go. And yeah, so that didn't quite work in my head, but
But there's something in me that says I'm not allowed to rest until, and I think it's
mm-hmm.
capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's that. And I've been practicing trying to rest in between things, like not like, oh, you can rest after you do
Mm.
these like 3 other things on your to-do list. It's like, or maybe we rest first so that there's a better chance of getting to the other things. I'm so sick of pushing through. I don't
Yeah.
want to push anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the other day I took my walk a little bit earlier in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon. And that is when I know that is like best for me to do it. But here I am. I still continue trying to like push myself all the way through the afternoon to like the very last, like till I've got nothing left. And then I'm like, then I
Mm.
can go on my walk. But I'm like, Bridget, if you just like take a fucking break, let yourself go on a walk, then you've got like more energy to like do the rest of what you're doing instead of what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Yep. It's so insidious, right?
I think we're doing great. We
Yeah, we're figuring it out. It's like that artwork that I sent you the other day where they talked about how consistency can look in different ways.
mm, mm-hmm,
And one visual representation was that very boring, straightforward, just like dotted black lines. And then underneath was all these like colorful swirls and dots that like created like a line, but like asymmetrical and varied. I really needed that. And I
mm,
feel like this idea of balance and the idea of like, bird's eye view going up and like looking, I think that society told me that I needed to do the straight black line of consistency, and that has never been me. Don't know her. Couldn't
mm,
couldn't couldn't even fathom what that might be like. But seeing it
mm,
represented in this, like, and it was more exciting. Like when I saw it represented that way, it's like, oh, right. I've been feeling guilt and shame for not being the dotted black line, but that's so boring to me. Like, I
mm-hmm.
don't even want that. I just felt like I should be achieving that because societal scripts. I'm like, look how beautiful that nonsense line is. Like, so much more exciting.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I just thought of something that I don't think that I told you what I meant to talk to you about, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
we'll leave it at this to think about. So, thinking about like I guess not doing things linearly or
Mm-hmm.
and the whole like zooming out of it all. But if you think back like 5 years ago and
Mm-hmm.
think back at that chunk of time of you like 5 years ago to now, like how does the 5 years ago you think of where you are now? That's fucking
Whoa.
like insane shit, right? I
Yeah.
I could say it for both of us. Like,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
know my
we
life.
yeah, like absolutely holy shit. You then could not have envisioned this now.
No.
Like there's no
Mm.
fucking way.
Mm-mm.
And how much you have like grown and been like resourced and like all that you have laid down like foundationally now in your
Mm-hmm.
being. And now consider 5 years from now.
Wow.
Like that to me, like somebody said that to me and it just blew the top off my brain because I was like, I'm so concerned with all these things that I haven't done yet, or
Mm-hmm.
right, that I should have done or should be somewhere by now, and all these things that I think that I have to do and accomplish. But if I think about it in that way, I'm like, oh my God, 5 years from now, I'm going to completely astound myself. And I have no idea what it's going to look like
Right. Because
because
it's just
I
something you
can't
can't
know.
even,
And
yeah,
that to me
imagine quite
feels
yet.
like that feels exciting when I think about it that way. And I've never quite been able to think about the future in an exciting way because it always feels like
Same.
I haven't done it yet, like, or I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
get there, or I'm never, all of that stuff. But like thinking about it in this way is like, oh, I can feel that because I think I
Oh,
can feel the excitement of like what I have done and how far I have come. And yeah,
and building up that self-trust that you can, in fact, continue on this arc
yeah,
and keep on surprising yourself and evolving and growing and implementing things, integrating, chucking what doesn't work out.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a nice frame. Instead of like concentrating on all the things that you haven't done yet and don't know how to do, looking at all the things that you've accomplished and figured out and believing that you can continue doing that in ways that 5 years ago you wouldn't have been able to imagine you doing presently. What's to
Mm-hmm.
say that 5 years from now, present would seem so much different. Ooh, you're right. This is really great to think on. That's a really beautiful frame. That feels really expansive.
Yeah, and I feel like it's inevitable. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
part of my being that doubts that in 5 years I'm going to feel astounded if I do this exercise again. Like I'm 100% believe that that's true because I'm like, how can it not? Because I'm
You have
not
good data.
right.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not I can't. Like, there's just so
Mm-hmm.
many things that I just
You know what you
intrinsically are
know
part
now.
of me now. Yeah, right. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind that 5 years from now is going to be wildly amazing. So, like, why am I worrying about it so much now?
You know what that sounds
Right?
like to me, Bridget?
What?
Confidence. Sound very confident right now.
Wow. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Thanks.
My pleasure.
I'm glad that I could share that with you, and I'm glad that you could reflect that back to me. And I'm looking forward to this next 5 years of completely astounding ourselves and each other.
Yeah, that feels really good. Mm-hmm.